Hello, welcome at another episode of Soulful Sundays. My name is Chabeli. I'm grateful to have you here, and don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you like the content or if you just like me. Anyways, today I want to talk to you about a question I received from follower, friend, a member of the Inclusive Society membership. That was, how do you re-find yourself? And I think it's a very interesting question. And I thought it's the perfect topic to discuss in today's episode on this wonderful Sunday. So how do you re-find yourself? It's a question that it's complicated to answer. First of all, I don't believe you have to re-find yourself, because that implies that you were lost somehow. And I don't believe we are ever lost. I think we can feel that way when you're doubting the path you're on or the decisions you're making, and then you can feel that you're lost. And so it may seem like you have to find yourself back again, but I don't believe, I'm sorry, I'm holding my phone and it's really annoying me. I don't believe that we're actually lost. I think that the world around us has become so loud. Maybe you can hear like there's a party going on outside. It has become so loud that the external voices that are not our own, that are not from God, that are so present that we forget who we really are. Like, we forget our own voice, we forget God's voice, we forget our true desires, our likes and dislikes, because we've been following the path of the world. Basically, we've been following the conditionings imprinted at us by our parents, by our friends, society, our teachers, TV. And you can come to a point that you feel like, I can't remember who I am anymore. You've been living like on the clock for too long. And then you might feel like, get a sense of feeling sorry. I'm just, next time I have to position my phone differently. You can come to a point that you feel like, I can't remember who I am anymore. But it's not lost. It's still inside of you. It's still there for you to uncover and discover, because it can feel like a scary moment, discovering or coming to the realization that I don't really know who I am, what I want. I don't know how to express myself freely. I don't know what my desires are and how to communicate them effectively. I have been living other people's version of me for so long that I can't remember what it feels like to be lighter, to be liberated from the burden of the world. I've been taking care of my kids, family, friends. I've been taking care of everybody's needs around me that I forgot my own needs. Oh, people, and that's a really heavy burden to carry and also to feel, to come to that realization. And it can feel like scary and big. Like, how do I get back to me? And that's the difficult part, but it's also like this really wonderful journey for you to go on. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, yes, of course, it would have been a lot easier if you would not have to go through that path, because you have the perfect growing environment for you where you could just blossom from the get-go. But I think in the world we live in, it's almost impossible to stay so connected to your own center and to God's voice, and don't be influenced in such a heavy way by the environment, because we're social beings. So it's natural for us to be influenced by environment. It's like a co-creation with our environment that we give our life sense and direction and meaning. So it's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it's like overgrown our core, but it's a wonderful journey of discovery, rediscovery, that you're invited on to see. Like when you meet someone and you feel like these butterflies inside your belly, like, oh, do I like him or her? And it can be really scary. Like that first phase of you don't know how you feel, you don't know how the other person feels, where is it going, etc. But it's excitement. So that's how you should feel if you realize, oh, I have been living someone else's life for too long, and I get to fall in love with me again. So first of all, how do you refine yourself? You don't have to refine yourself because you were never lost. Really important, because it implies that you are gone while you're still there. It like deep buried in the pile of the world, buried under the noise. You are still there. You never left. And the next part is like, how do you come back to expressing yourself and realizing and knowing, remembering yourself? And that's not an answer that is this, that the answer to this question is not going to be the same for everyone. And what it's really important that you first learn to recognize the parts that are not yours and the parts that are, and that you also learn to understand, like, how are the dynamics with you and your environment. Like, how is your mindset, your thoughts, how are they shaped by your environment, and how does that influence you? And once you learn it and you become conscious about that, you can also understand better how it is that you came to be where you are now. And then you have to uncover, like, let's basically like 99% of us, maybe even more, suffer from childhood trauma, because that's the way the system was built. And it's a conversation for a different time. But because we carry those trauma, it's really difficult to get to your core. So an important part also of this journey is to understanding what your trauma, not even maybe what your trauma is, but what your trauma responses are and how you can neutralize them, if I may say so. Because it's difficult to get to your core if you're, for example, responding from triggers. Like I remember people saying like, yeah, that didn't feel right, so I didn't choose that path. But they were actually just really scared because of childhood trauma. So it wasn't that they chose not to go down that road because it didn't feel like right for them. They were actually so triggered by their trauma that they couldn't come to what really was inside of them, and they missed opportunities. So that's a shame. That's a pity. So anyways, a really important part of refining yourself is understanding trauma and how that shows up in your body and how you can release yourself from that trauma. And then it's just really like reconnecting to your inner child, like the child you used to be before like the world became so heavy on you that you got buried under that stuff. And so there are different parts of the journey in rediscovering yourself. And for me, it's like basically recoding or reprogramming your body, your mind, and in such a way that it gives back more space to your soul, to God. It's releasing and getting rid of the excess baggage you're carrying, so you can let everything be lighter, liberated. And so I hope it answered your question. And for my follower, I don't want to call her name, say her name, because I like to keep things anonymous. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let me know. And I'd love to see you back next week. So have a wonderful evening or day, wherever you are, and see you next time. Bye.